This is a very pretty and yet very sad menu theme. Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob and today we are gonna be beginning the narration and character voice acting for the Babel story. Finally a title that is not a mouthful to pronounce, but also a story. Damn, this was anticipated for so long. I cannot even begin to tell you how much effort it took to just stick my head into the sand, into the earth, into concrete, and into pure steel, not to get spoiled by anything or anybody. Many YouTube channels that have been recommended over the past months to me on YouTube's homepage have had the unfortunate accident of tripping into the do not recommend to me anymore a little trap, but yeah, damn. It has been a while and it has been anticipated, but it's finally here and I'm ready to begin this journey with you guys and give you guys a full voiceover for this with probably a lot of extra little bits that I can infuse into the story from time to time, but we'll see how it evolves. First off, don't skip this intro yet. We have a couple of things to discuss here before we begin, and it mostly concerns newer players here. Now, I've already recorded this opening once, as I have done so with previous stories, where I didn't read the full thing that's gonna be part of part 1 or part 2 or whatever, but, well, I recorded an opening and then have to re-record it now, as I have my confirmation of will there be spoilers for current events in the main story. And I can, for newer players, I can clearly tell you, the first node will immediately almost spoil you on a certain big reveal and big kind of background story of a certain thing happening in Londinium. And if you're someone who doesn't want to hear that spoiler and doesn't want to know anything about that, well, my honest recommendation with this whole story would be, I mean, just in general, my recommendation with this story would be to go through the main story at least to 12, chapter 12, maybe even 13, and see how the story culminates there, and then go into Babel, because Babel is definitely, as much as it is a prequel story, it is a story that carries a lot of the little bits and pieces and hints and stuff that have been revealed and told to us over time through the main story and a lot of side stuff. But main story is something I would recommend being caught up to before going into this. You don't need to, of course. If you just want to experience the story as it is, you can do so, as I always say. But do yourself a favor. When you're done catching up, if you do this now, and you're catching up with the main story later, come back to this. Use this video or read it again yourself, come back to this, go through it again, and see what you missed. Because there's gonna be a lot of impactful stuff that will be probably a lot more impactful, even without knowing what is gonna transpire throughout the whole story. I can tell you right now, there's gonna be a lot of stuff that carries a lot more weight if you know what has happened. If you know where we are right now compared to just blindly going through this and not knowing. So my honest recommendation, if you go through this before you're caught up with the main story, come back to this. Come back to this and read it again. You will feel much better. It will have probably much more impact. But yeah, this is definitely a story that carries a lot of weight. And on that note, I would also like to say, as always with these stories, I personally will only know as much as there is in part 1, part 2, and however many parts there are. Up until where the part is, I personally will only know the story up until then, until I start recording part 2. So what I'm saying is, keep your spoilers in check. If I survived 7 months without getting spoiled on any other person's video or comment section or whatever, I implore you to do the same in my comment section and not do the same, and not spoil me on anything. And of course, for other people who are watching along, who don't know what is happening in the story, don't leave spoilers in the comment section. Keep it for later. If there is a moment in the story that you are anticipating, leave that excitement for that part, and leave that comment for that part. Because I don't want to see them, and if I see them, I will nuke them out of orbit with an ion cannon. Don't make me lock the comment section on my videos. That's all I'm saying. If I have to, I'll do it until the storm is over. But yeah, halfway joking aside, keep them in check, please. And thank you very much. And yeah, final bit before I hand over to my future self, who will guide you through the rest of the story. My anticipations for this story. Now, I've already did this in the in the bit that I already recorded as an opener, but let me repeat what I said there. So first off, there are obviously a ton of stuff that people are expecting from this story. Obviously, the Doctor is one of them, seeing the old Doc pre-amnesia and learning how they were as a character, and considering we only know bits and pieces about them, considering certain characters have told us how either scared they felt of them, how the old Doctor just felt like he was observing other people as, you know, pawns on a chessboard essentially, like they are not even people that they care about. And it's gonna be interesting to see them and their dynamic with the rest of the people in Babel. Then there is kal'tsit and her relationship actually with the Doc, the pre-amnesia Doc, and how they interacted and talked to each other is also gonna be interesting. Then there is obviously Amia, small Amia, and how her child self will compare to the older version that we have currently in the story. Theresa is another one, but I feel like, at least for me, I feel like Theresa has been already painted enough as a character throughout all the little bits and pieces that were left. My current, this might change, but my current preconception with Theresa of Babel times is that as much as she is a gentle and like always presented as a gentle, pristine character, I think she's just mentally broken. I think she is that type of character that you see in an anime that puts shivers down your spine by just being as gentle as a warm blanket in winter, but the moment she opens her mouth and says something, it just puts shivers down your spine. It's like that pristine character that cares about someone, but you are looking at them and they're peeling the skin off of something. kind of that feeling. I don't know if that's gonna be true, but considering certain things that I've heard her say and how she's presenting stuff, she's leaving me with a very, very mentally broken kind of state, and we'll see if that's the truth or not. I hope not. Personally, I hope not. Personally, I hope I'm just reading too much into it, but we'll see. Now, the other thing, and we see him right there, the other thing that I don't really hear ever people talk about is Theresa's. I am really, 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 really curious how he is gonna be in this whole spiel. Because we know him of right now, and without spoiling anything, the current Theresa's is literally someone who, the moment he sees Rhode Island personnel, it's literally like a bull seeing a matador with a goddamn red cape. He is charging and he is not monologuing long. He is charging and he is killing. This guy is not playing around when he sees in current time and space when Rhode Island is in front of him. But I'm really curious about his dynamic of the past, before the downfall of Babel happened and everything. How he is interacting with the rest of them, and how the rest of them are interacting back with him. Really curious about that whole aspect. And then there is obviously Ascalon, her involvement. I don't know how much of a role she's gonna be playing in the past, but obviously as we see her back to back with Manfred there, again, Manfred being a main story character, so for, again, people who haven't met Manfred yet, this might not mean anything, but this is gonna be interesting to see how those two have potentially interacted in the past and stuff like that, if that is even gonna be shown. Yeah, we'll see about that, and much more. There is a shit ton. I mean, we have pre-amnesia Doc. There better be stuff about Originium and its role in everything. Maybe maybe the story is dropping some hints on what it actually is. I mean, we have little bits and pieces again about that. Big like big like hints that happen in Lone Trail itself, and yeah, there is a ton. And I'm obviously looking forward to the big events, even though they're gonna be probably gruesome and heartbreaking. But I am looking forward to see how the downfall of Babel has played out, and the moment Amia is gonna be getting her powers and that shit, and yeah, it's gonna be a story. But anyway, I will now leave you off to future me, and you are about to see how much there is gonna be in this very first part. So, enjoy the story, and I will see you at the end of the episode. Enjoy! Alright, and here we are. So, this is how much we're gonna be covering here today in this very first part. I would say this is kinda like the box standard at this point, unless the story is super long or super short. But, the introductory cutscene and our first two battle stages. One thing before I set us off on our journey today, I will remind you guys later as well if you're just gonna be watching throughout, but as a little bonus thing, at the very butt end of the episode today, there will be two separate clips that I'm gonna include in there. Both are reactions to two separate things in the story that I kept in, and well, that I kept around rather. And I'll tell you right now, without spoiling anything about what it is, one of them has very peaked audio. So do keep in mind, if you are gonna be skipping forward, one of them has very, very high audio. I will not be editing it down or muting it down, so if you're listening through headphones on full volume or something, or listening on full volume on speakers, and are gonna get to that part later, I will put a warning one more time when I get there, but keep in mind, the volume will be pretty high. It will be pretty high on one of them at least. But yeah, just wanted to keep them around because one of them I kinda expected to see. The other one I did not expect to see. But anyway, let us begin with our story properly. BBSD1. Unfinished Goodbye. A speck of blood red upon speckless white. A boy cries in his dreams. To weather the blizzard, a girl wraps him within her cloak and wipes his tears away. Freezing, gusting, the air screams on. Softly, the Cyclops tells of an epic tale, far, far away. Through the snowstorm seams, her voice comes. The myriad souls' calls become harmony with it. The boy's whimpers the drum of their beat. This dream is bitter cold. Within, the girl seizes a faint breath. She covers the boy's eyes and closes her own. Even now, even here, for them, the ballad from 1,000 years ago is still playing. Armies fell upon our home, them I saw from afar. From valleys to hills, our lands they scarred. The king slaughtered, the myriad souls did lament. Yet one sovereign fell, 6 heroes rose. They blew the horn, led the fight, faced their foes. Alas, the wondrous city collapsed, to ruin swift as the fleeting peace elapsed. When all seemed lost, a black crown appeared. The twins brought hope where dread had reared. Spreads the rift, giving birth to betrayal. An assassin in the heart of tempest, them I saw from afar. A sword to slay the regent king, a spear to pierce the royal ring. Legend ends as justice calls, to righteous fate the mighty falls. That is how this episode ends. The Cyclops fades into the blizzard of the dreamscape, leaving the child behind her. The boy's own cries grow distant, from his ears. He wakes. Summer, 1094. Outskirts of an abandoned town, Kazdel.
That is how this episode ends, Ascalon. My story is over. That is what my people, the Cyclops bound for the deep north, saw as they gazed their last of Kazdel. Was that a page from long-lost history? A possible future yet to come? Or plain meaningless gibbering? None knew for the past millennium. Until they came, and fate's rapids begin to narrow into a surer course. And now the fate she saw has drawn before our eyes.
I don't care.
I'm surprised you'd even hear me out.
Bright red blood creeps along his mask, trickling down his chest. Ascalon's eyes narrow a hair. He's out of luck. You're about to die, so I gave you one last token of respect.
Those prophecies never did gnaw at you in all the time we knew each other, no? That's why you will never understand how a greedy soul thirsts to control his fate.
Choose better last words.
I know how you hurry to convene with those Babel members, but it's not yet time for you to leave. Look, the catastrophe is near. Funny, I'm curious now. What was it you found within the storm?
Step aside.
No commission left unfinished. The rule I set myself back when I was at the Scar Market. Alive or...
A dawn-like mist is wound about the Cyclops' neck as Ascalon vanishes behind him, leaving his body to dangle over the cliff's edge. You ever seen your own end, then?
I don't care for prophecies. We have that in common. But fact is, none of us can outrun fate. Don't you want to struggle out of it? What makes you not? Why can you not? How can you not? Never forget, you have your place in the prophecies too.
Whimpering, storming. A plaintive chant rings in their ears, an elegy over the horizon from the convalescence of the banshees, sucked into the storm's eye. Ascalon gives an involuntary shudder. She is ice cold from head to toe. An indescribable pain rips from behind her ears down to the soles of her feet. This nameless elegy, this ill omen.
Farewell, Kazdel.
A single sigh reaches Ascalon. Her hand tightens fast until not even the faintest sound will leave Scar Eye's throat again. And then she lets go.
Damn fate!
In a blink, the tremendous figure of the Cyclops becomes no more than a speck below the overhang. The mist scatters to the storm, The shadow of a hood goes with it. All vanishes within the teardrops falling from the cliff. Gasps, rolls of thunder from catastrophe clouds, whistles as the sand is swept across the barrens. The sound of everything culminates in silence. Londinium, Victoria. Now, lift your heads, Sarkas of hers. If you would still see through the calling she bestowed you, here I stand. Come, step forth. You may avenge her. My name is stitched onto my clothes. Stitched by Her Highness Theresa's own hands. I can feel it faintly burning right this moment, and I know what it means. The mission she assigned us is over. We'll clash with you no more. The Sarkas do not draw on each other before the invader. We pledge our loyalty to you, Regent. So long as you still hold your zeal and earnestness for the Sarkas, we will trust you with our lives. Even though you nearly ruined all the plans we set up in Victoria. Should the military commission put us to death, we will be willing to die. As long as it could bring a better end. An end as she wished. A moment ago, you were the renegades in chief, all but ready to entomb our plans. How can I possibly believe? Manfred. As she wished, you said. Your name, Deathmonger. Julie. I will remember it, and I will hand you your final mission. Guards, assassins, mercenaries, survivors of the sea of bloodshed, one and all, you are to enter the Mausoleum of Kings. You are to render Victoria's iron heart as scrap. You are to ambush and wipe out every last Steam Knight. You'd let us take part in the Commission's core plan to enfeeble Londinium? Manfred will take good care of you. There is no chance we leave that place alive, is there? You're welcome to try and fight for it. Very well. What's keeping you here? I'm just taking it in. I'm looking at the one who fostered Ascalon. She never rid herself of you. I swore to follow Her Highness Theresa, with no inkling that the tale of the mixed-blood twins, rewriters of Kazdel's history, would end this way. Let alone that this disposable life of mine had a place in it. Farewell, Your Highness Theresa's. I take my hatred of you to the grave. Rhodes Island of Babel, Kazdel. Keep going, kal'tsit. Never since the day she was born has this corridor felt so endlessly long to kal'tsit. Monster! My name! Do not bury us, cause the soil cannot hold any more traitors. Finish him. I know that, even left on your own, your step will never falter. Amia, Doctor. System unresponsive. This is... Monster, cut the door down. Monster, meltdown. You believe loneliness is yours alone, that you have none of the same kind. Yet, from the day you woke again, we've walked shoulder to shoulder, haven't we?
Immortal empires turn to dust, elder scepters rend in two under ancients' rallying cries, pulses over the sky like a surge, the immutable rhythm of the stars, from resplendent glimmer to dull collapse. Death, rebirth, the all-encompassing cycle. She's ever so familiar with it.
Theresa. Yet still, one day I'll choose to slow down, to stop in place where I am. When I do, kal'tsit, don't grieve, keep going.
Kal'tsit subconsciously searches her memories. Death, rebirth, the all-encompassing cycle. No. It's not the same this time. Not quite. For the first time, she must bid to the first who could ever converse with her as an equal, to her dearest friend, farewell.
Theresa. So, kal'tsit, it's time to say goodbye. Amia. Doctor... But... I always say one day our wandering is bound to end. One day the Sarkas's wandering is bound to end. Now your wandering too has reached its endpoint. I knew full well this possibility always existed. Why? I should have stayed behind. It's my... Because I believe in Rhodes Island. I believe in Babel. I believe in you. Kal'tsit, I hope the Rhodes can be a place you name home, an island you may always return to. I already did everything I could do. I won't harbor complaint for my own end. Babel's mission is concluded, while you and this landship have only just set sail. I am not the same kind as you, kal'tsit. I cannot explain away your puzzlement. But I have always been your companion. Then, now, and after. I will always be with you all. Now,
今、あなたが初めに抱いた疑問を解き明かす時なんじゃないかしら。長い長い夜の後にはロドスアイランドにもきっと夜明けが訪れるわ。
Well, this is how you begin a story, right? And no, I will not apologize for the bonus material that I put there right at the end. Hope you enjoyed that one. Kind of felt inspired, you could say. I like to be evil sometimes. Oh boy. Not gonna lie, I was kind of secretly hoping, because this would be the perfect story to start with, you know, what will eventually happen, and then slowly build up to that moment, and just show it at the beginning immediately. And they did it, and they did it in a spectacular sense, with both music and the intermixing text there. That was good. But yeah, anyway, hope you enjoyed. Hope you felt something. I definitely did. That took a couple of tries. But anyway, we will move on to our first battle stage. BB-1. Titled Great Aspirations. I knew this day would come. And moving onward, every battle stage from now on will have both cutscenes
put together as one cutscene from start to finish, and once we are done, as usual, we're gonna do the character, or rather the enemy introductions, and then move on to our next stage. But for now, let's begin with the first one. "64 years ago, autumn, the year 1030. Scar Market, Kazdel. You protect this tag around your neck with your life. You're my precious property, slave. You understand? You piece of shit, you better be worth something. Stay here and don't move. You inspect the goods." The slave trader casts a glance at the silent slave behind the mercenary's back, then slightly shakes his head. "Where'd you get it?" "Found him on my way here, dying of thirst and about to become mangler chow. Thought he could fetch a good price." "I came from Kazdel. I can find someone who..." "Doesn't matter to us where you're from, slave. Say you're Higashinis for all we care, as long as someone buys you out. I'm just checking if you've got a tail. You never know where these mercs get their goods." "I promise you he's clean." "You better not be messing with me. Cash or barter?" "Ain't gonna live long enough for money to mean something. Give me some good weapons." "You're the boss. He's second rate at best. That'll net you 2 blades freshly cast."
"How about you take another look, with your eyes open this time?"
"You can dress him up as first rate, but it won't change anything. If you don't like our offer, feel free to get lost. And put that machete of yours away. This is the Scar Market you're in."
Can you throw in more? I was out on the Lethanian border before I got back. I've got first-hand intel about the whole war in the court.
"Well, here's something for nothing. Careful what you spew out of that mouth if you want to stay alive here. Mouthing around you have valuable first-hand intel. You want to guess where it'll get you? Leave the goods and scram. You're holding up the line."
Ugh.
"Not happy? Drown your sorrows in the bar. Our boss Scar Eye brews one heck of a drink. Doesn't matter if you can't pay your tab. They'll take your weapon as a collateral, merc."
One more thing. Where do you run your bounty board? I'm here to strike it rich.
"The barfolk will be happy to inform you."
Ugh, piece of shit.
The merc stares around this floating hub, hidden away in the giant subterranean hollow beneath Kazdel. Amidst the moans of the slaves, the faint yet constant rumble of lava and bursts of originium dust can be heard rising from beneath the market. Eyeing the rugged path behind him, the mercenary recalls the perils he faced to reach here from the surface and shudders.
Just how many people are there in that goddamn chasm?
Enough to break your fall if you jumped. Welcome to the Scar Market, Greenhorn. You'll love it here.
What's the deal over there? By the crowd.
Probably another big name just rolled back into town. Aren't you here to strike it rich? Go on then. I'd rather keep my horns out of all that mess. The merc vaguely makes out a pale white figure flitting through the chaotic gloom of the street. White clothes. You don't see that every day in Kazdel.
You're injured. Tell me something I don't know.
You're...
The last time I was here, it was someone else handling transactions.
Yes. You're referring to my grandfather. He never stopped bragging about how he'd fought you and lived. I'm surprised you'd remember him. In a good sense, though. That means he wasn't lying all this time. It must have been 60 years ago by now. General Theresis.
Already? How sad that nothing here has changed at all.
I imagine with Her Highness here too, there'll be no more violence this time, huh? Even if things get bloody eventually, you'll leave, but we'll always be here, General. We'll always have business, so long as Kazdel's unrest never rests. Even now, I remember one thing my grandpa mentioned in his boasts. He said to you, it's the land of Kazdel that needs us.
Theresis looks at the slaves, their heads down in their cages. He draws his sword. War and turmoil have necessitated this trade for over a century. This scar market. General, provided you can reach the surface alive, take a fresh look at Kazdel. Much of what you know will soon change. All Sarkas will be part of this change.
All? Us too?
Yes. I'm not inclined to explain our vision to the likes of you, but I will stay here a while longer and wait for her return. Until then, I welcome you mercenaries to challenge me, just as 60 years ago. I will take you to Kazdel, willingly or otherwise. His voice isn't loud, but every Sarkas present hangs onto his every word. The mixed blood Sarkas stands alone, no retinue, no army, armed only with an ordinary-looking longsword, casually held in the hand that wields it. His steely gaze pierces through the dim of the street, settling calmly in the direction of the only person he cares for.
You can dismiss the mercenaries in ambush. No doubt they're your most trusted men.
This is out of my respect for the King of Sarkas. And aside from the General, can claim to know your true motives after all. Your Highness, do you truly believe this can change the fate of the Sarkas? That you're not just another ill-fated hero caught in this cycle of hope and failure?
Once the dust is all settled, your answer will come naturally. Following the Pyrrhic victory, we built from zero a moving city, the great nomad of Sarkas soil for over a century now. We can evade catastrophes and foreign armies. Our development has finally reached a point of basic self-sufficiency, but it's so far from enough. The storm has been brewing on the horizon, but we were too oblivious, like a burdened beast, too slow to react, too old to move.
Your Highness must be referring to that war between Lithanian and Gaul.
Surely you too are aware of the magnitude of that war. Corsica the First even secretly hired our royal court casters as his consultants, but despite a period of seclusion, Lithanian's Witch King thwarted Gaul's offenses with its opening move. And now Ursus and Victoria have also declared war on Gaul. These present empires display a might so far removed from the enemy 130 years ago, against which we stoiked all Kazdel just to barely prevail. That was already a victory in name only. If Kazdel must now be thrust into the same situation, how could it possibly end?
It is for this end that you wish to establish the military commission of Kazdel. Yet the old aristocrats of the royal court grow resentful, refusing to relinquish their sumptuous city lives and viewing this as an attempt to challenge their privileges.
A century of peace is enough for certain memories to slip their minds.
So, what made you deign to come here in person? Do you see the Scar Market as the royal court for the bottom feeders, where the likes of us escape by and make merry?
My only hope is for more Sarkas to join us and resist the voices that refuse to embrace change.
Resist? Perhaps your Highness meant terrorize and purge.
What I want is a reform, not a slaughter.
So, what's the reward? The Scar Market's not a real royal court. What we have with the mercenaries is partnership, not fealty. Without compensation, no one will work for us.
Reward? Are these spoils of war not enough? Are the riches, power, or food that should have gone to the hungry people not enough to sate your appetite? You claim to provide shelter and a livelihood for countless Sarkas warriors with your rhetoric of justice, yet I could almost hear their bones crunch as you squeeze them dry for profit.
Sorry, but in this business we eat people whole and chew out their bones.
Scar-Eye, you too are Sarkas. You too are a part of Kazdel. But Theresa cannot see what expression lies behind Scar-Eye's mask. His emotions are clear as day before her pitch-black crown. No commoner in Kazdel would ever dare defy the royal court. But in his emotions, all Theresa sees is fervor and bloodthirst. You won't refuse.
Why would I? Do you think I'm scared they'll take revenge on me? The royal court's no mystery to me. Your Highness knows that pretty well. And let me say, you've promised me, no doubt, the best reward I could ask for. We thrive on chaos, and I can see the level of chaos you will bring upon Kazdel.
The fact that you've kept the name Scar tells me that your ideas haven't changed.
Like you said, the nations of Terra have grown tremendously in power over the last century. We could throw more revenants into the soul furnace and stoke its flames, but it will not close that gap. So why force the people, who aren't really of the same race, to band together, call themselves the Sarkas, and build a giant target called Kazdel? The war between the four superpowers has proven that other Terran nations can accept our existence as mercenaries, and that's where Scar Market comes in. And your Highness surely knows that we've become a community, a town, because many of us could never fit into the elitist, bloodline-obsessed royal court. In all these years, I may have helped just as many Sarkas find a new way of life as the 6 heroes, if not even more. And I'm not the least bit ashamed to say it, Your Highness, King of Sarkas.
Theresa doesn't reply. All she offers is a faint smile at the Cyclops. It suddenly occurs to Scar-Eye that this King of Sarkas belongs to no royal court and represents no bloodline. Her sole aim is to persuade the Sarkas who are unwilling to believe that Kazdel can be built, some of whom have even committed crimes for this cause, to believe once more. But is she enough to break free from the cycle of tragic failures, from the ending he foresaw?
Come to think of it, there's one thing I don't get, Your Highness. I might have agreed to help you. But why didn't you and General Theresa simply burn this place to the ground before the day's end? I would have little chance of winning if you decided to do so. Just like you did 60 years ago.
A minute ago, you described Kazdel as nothing but a target, and that you want another way for the Sarkas to live, one that would have them depend on other nations.
Yes.
So tell me, in your prophetic visions, have you seen Kazdel's destruction? Have you seen my death, Therese's death, and the destruction of all that you stand against? And what about yourself? How do you behold your death? A slow and agonizing death by ripathy, slain in battle on foreign soil, or drowned in a sea of plots and conspiracies? Have you ever left this place and see Kazdel as it is now? Have you ever truly seen the future?
Is this your way of asking for a prophecy? I don't give handouts, but for Your Highness, I'll consider a discount.
Such nerve. No wonder you were able to claw your way out of this bleakness and rebuild this mercenary's paradise. But I'll pass on the prophecy. Prophecies and fate have no value. It's getting late. I look forward to your return to Kazdel.
He watches her go and heaves a long sigh, only when her footsteps fall from earshot. Son of a bitch. Foresight, prophecies, his own death. He bought his coffin this very morning. Tally up the losses.
Boss, the slaves.
Set them free. They're bound to get tangled up in the scar market after the war begins anyway. At most we'll lose out on pocket change. Did anyone take on General Theresis and survive?
Yes, I've noted them all down.
Take them to supplies for a little reward. They've got real balls. When you're done, take them to the bar entrance and kill them, all in front of everyone. Send their heads to General Theresis as an apology.
Got it.
Send their rewards to whatever family and friends they have as bereavement. Tell every merc looking to make a living in the scar market, I don't want to see anyone trying funny shit on my turf.
He heads alone to the bar, the tags on his cloak jangling in his steps. He stands prominently in the crowd, watching as the blades take the light from the mercenaries' eyes. Still, no one fights back. Utter disappointment.
Drinks are on the house tonight, both to celebrate the two highnesses sparing your lives, and to celebrate the huge gig you've all just landed. Your objective is in Kazdel. Get your shit ready. Soon you're all gonna be in the city.
Secret entrance of Scar Market, Kazdel.
You've been quiet for some while now, Theresa. Are you hesitating?
No, I have confidence in you. A reshuffle of the War Council is inevitable. It's just... I've been thinking about the city's future. War won't stop itself at Gaul. Our pace has fallen too far behind. Corsica the First commands an indomitable fleet of dreadnoughts and guard battalions. The Mad King of Lethanian has more than his arts in his arsenal to affect Gaul's failure. The industrial might of both Ursus and Victoria in the throes of a large-scale war has far surpassed our imaginations.
Many assume to know war like the back of their hand simply by living long enough through it. If our concept of war still lingers on the great battle from a century ago, then we have drastically underestimated how quickly wars can nourish empires and fuel dictatorships. This is exactly why we need a military commission.
It's more than that, Theresis.
I know.
When the day comes, when the Sarkas wish to live on, if a brittle, creaking city is all they have to call their own, it will be far from enough. Do you remember the idea I proposed back when kal'tsit was designing the city's blueprints with us?
Babel.
To transcend the borders of race and nation, to echo far and wide in our ideals, in our epics.
Founded by us Sarkas.
We will prepare Kazdel for the coming crises, strive to eradicate the poverty and disease that have plagued them for millennia, and send a message to all of Terra. There will come a future when we all stand as one. The Sarkas too are part of Terra's destiny.
This is not the first time Theresis has heard of her idea. Apart from the dame who left after helping build the nomadic city of Kazdel many years ago, he alone knows the true belief of the current king of Sarkas. Kazdel won't accept this Babel. You and I both know that well. It's but a dream of attempting to subvert reality.
Yes, for now at least we can't be talking of such grand ideals, while even our own affairs are slipping away from us. It's my hope this Babel can become a part of Kazdel, Theresis.
Are you prepared then? As I said before, it's not just the other nations that will oppose you. Kazdel and the Sarkas clinging on to their hatred will also stand against you. It is cruel to force them to forgive and forget. The persecution of the Sarkas is not history. The ancient hatred is what drives many to survive until this day.
I am the King of Sarkas. The responsibility is all mine to bear. I must show them a way out of this.
I see. Then go. Do what you will. Theresa, I still do not approve of your vision, but I do support your decision, and the future military commission will too. If your gaze is set too far to see what lies before you, then I shall sweep away all that obstructs you at the moment, just as always.
I know.
Come, let's go home. Kazdel still needs us for what's about to happen.
Oh, yes, Skarai mentioned the prophecy again as I was leaving. The signs of a pessimistic fate.
And your reaction?
I don't care.
Agreed.
Kazdel, a strange yet familiar name. Many from this great land see it as the pit from which devils crawl, a terrible place to be avoided at all costs. While to the Sarkas the name only evokes equally conflicted emotions. Despite generations of Sarkas passing on that Kazdel is the Sarkas' homeland, an outsider might wonder if they mean the city, or the entirety of those lands. Perhaps only they themselves know. It never struck me on the way out just how high this wall is. Oh well, at least I can go home alive now. That means I'm pretty lucky. That man in the Scar Market, that was General Theresis, the first of the city's founders, the hero of that legendary campaign. If only I had the courage to ask him to take me in, maybe I could have just... I'm dreaming again. He sits atop the high wall, experiencing for the first time a new lease on life. Few of Kazdel's civilian Sarkas, save for those children who haven't yet cottoned on to the fear of death, ever climb onto the city wall. If the tremendous pipes and tubes piled high can even be called a wall. The intricately tangled forest of originium spikes can take the lives of anyone who loses their footing, but it also serves as a haven for pilferers and mercenaries to stash their goods. Smugglers and vagrants cross through the dark underground, peeking out from the tunnels and drains and at mines and factories, scuttling from one corner of the city to another. The life the slave once knew. The general gave me a fresh start, so what should I do from now on? He gazes at the furnace, burning and smoldering far away, teeming with indiscernible workers as they carry originium, steel, dirt, and stones into its heart. To Kazdel the nomad, its flames bring motion, while the molten metal that flows out adds new appendage to the city. For a whole country, it's belched its incandescent black smoke. None know whether it's ash or originium dust. Some say it's the bitter anger and anguish as the revenants exhale their last breaths. Witchcraft altars hang high in the sky, intermittently flashing their blinding rays. The slave has heard many different versions of their urban legend. The most frightening version claims that the royal court's casters work day and night on the altars, watching everything and listening to every conversation in the city. Maybe I can try my luck at the factories too. It doesn't matter what else, I've made it back alive. It's been months since I left. I don't know how many of my friends are still alive. The nomadic city of Kazdel. Kazdel. What the fuck? What happened here? Why are all the doors open and the furniture all smashed? Poltop, you're back! It's you. What are you doing here? Where'd you get the ornament? Something big is happening. Royal court nobles are being dragged out of their houses and killed by mercenaries appearing from nowhere, while the city guards do nothing. A lot of us have been sneaking into the empty houses and boy have we dragged up some good stuff. How are you still alive though? Word got out you wanted to leave the city and find your own way, and after so long, we all assumed you died out there. Ha, you won't believe my luck. First I was left to die without food or water, then I was taken to the Scar Market. But guess what? General Theresis saved my life. The general himself. Then on the way home I ran into this guy with a halo over his head, calling himself a messenger, and he brought me all the way back to the city wall. So I've decided to change my name to Good Luck starting today. You guys can forget that lousy old name of mine. A guy with a halo, a sancta, and then the general. You sure learn how to lie, Good Luck. Believe me or don't, but either way, today is a fresh new start for me. I'm gonna go and be a miner. I looted a Nachtseer's house earlier and found some hot air balloons. Wanna launch me on one and put that luck of yours to good use? I'm in. Well, that was fast. Man, it feels good to be home. Good Luck glances around at the people swarming the street. This is the life he knows. If he wants to survive, the city will always offer him a way. Thank you, Fate, and thank you, General. Autumn, the year 1031. The nomadic city of Kazdel, Kazdel. Hey, let me through already. Hey, no shoving. You wanna go to spot? I'll trade you mine for some high purity Regenio out of the mines. Hey, don't just grab the leaflet out of my hands. That blood all over you stinks. Can't help it when you're breaking into dead people's houses. Lingones. That's how you read that word, right? Where's Lingones? Gaul! Oh, where's Gaul? How the fuck should I know where Gaul is? Hey, what's with the attitude? Shh! The Highnesses and the Royal Court big shots are discussing something in the chamber. I heard it's about reorganizing the city. Haven't you noticed all the extra guards on the streets recently? So quiet down a bit. The weather's been real stuffy today. It is decided. The military commission will replace the war council in assisting the king of Sarka's Theresa in decision-making related to Kazdel's military and political affairs. The military commission will be the sole administration of Kazdel, and none will have the authority to issue commands to the Sarkas in the royal court's name. All present have already received the details of this resolution to the royal court leaders who still wish to cling onto the war council. Know that the military commission of Kazdel will become the final bastion of the Sarkas, our eternal fortress, and the usher of a new order. Are there any further questions? Your Highness appears more haggard than you did yesterday. Please look after your health. No military commission is worth it. if it comes at the cost of your highness's health. Kermalin, thank you. I know how hard you have worked for this day, and I also know how Kazdel today views the banshees of the Convalis. But before I state our position, I encountered a lost envoy of the Liches on my journey here. He entrusted me with a letter for your highnesses. That he couldn't even find a road here, let this be proof of the immense changes Kazdel has undergone. A letter from Lithanian. If things are going as expected, your highness's messenger would still not have received any news from the Cyclops. Rather than waiting for the response from deep in the blizzard, should we not hear how the Liches of Lithanian answer? You're right. It has been a very long time since the Sarkas were able to truly unite. Oh?
The ornate calligraphy upon the letter turns into silken threads that float above the paper and weave into the shape of a familiar figure.
Fremont, a lich who has long resided in Lithanian. It appears that he is now the first scribe for the Liches. It seems that the arts practiced by the Liches of Lithanian have seen some stylistic changes. Oh, he appears rather excited. Why is there only image but no sound? Well, the Lich envoy did suggest to me that he was rather vexed with refining his master's birds, but never did I imagine that he would simply erase all the sound. In short, Fremont apologizes on behalf of the Liches. They are enthralled as ever by their quest for knowledge, and are therefore unable to afford the distraction of making the long journey here. But if Kazdel were ever in need of their knowledge, they would happily throw wide the gates to their temple for the people that they have chosen. I am sure that with your abilities, your highness can understand Fremont's attitude on the matter from his image alone. To me, it appears as though he is sensitive to drastic change, as has always been his wont. Ah, yes, there is another letter from Fremont, one addressed directly to the general.
Might I remind you, the Kermalin, that you are nobody's messenger. You have not yet expressed where the Banshee Court stands.
I assumed that we had reached an understanding in the course of our reminiscing yesterday. The Banshees will not participate. We are still recovering from the wounds inflicted by the past war. Perhaps other Sarkas will castigate us for it, but all present should know that since that war, the elegies have yet to cease in our valley. We had suffered grievous losses. If Kazdel calls on the aid of the Banshees once more, then I will give the same promise as Fremont. The Banshees will be there. But until that day, you will find us willing but unable. Naturally, I myself will render what little assistance I am able to give from this day onwards. That's more than we could ask for. Thank you, Kermalin. You are welcome, your highness. You know where I stand. For the past 100 years, I have always stood by the decisions you have made. I can only hope that your brother does not blame us for watching from the sidelines. Next, Lord Nezalim, the Nachtzer King. You were once the leader of the War Council and the mentor of Theresis and I. What is your opinion on these many proposals? Where do the other council members that you represent stand on the matter?
Have you discussed them with the Damatsi cluster?
They have long since taken root in Kazdel, under many different names and faces. We have had many conversations over the years, and they have no objections.
Then I have no objections of my own. Your Highness need not worry about the bureaucratic hurdles, policy imperfections, or enforcement mechanisms. Where I stand is also where the other members of the council stand. We all know what we truly long for. A turnabout, a change, a banner. Go, do as you will. We will not, Sir King. I promise you that. I trust that this stagnant and old war can take on a new form in your hands.
I notice you have not said a word this entire meeting. Sanguinarch of vampires.
To take the War Council and the century of history behind it, and sweep it into the gutter alongside the exalted heroic age and what little triumphs within. Is that the General's decision? It is our decision. Speak your mind, Ducarel.
Ducarel lowers his gaze. Theresa's white skirt is mottled with many a blackened bloodstain. The Sanguinarch is highly attuned to such matters. He senses the blood of the lowly, the foul stench of fallen descendants, and the murky taint of royal court members who willingly debase themselves.
I thank your Highness for purifying the filthy blood that I saw bore in my stead. But never have I needed to hide my requests behind honeyed words, such as it has been for every king of the past, and so it will be for you. The military commission is merely an attempt to hide Sarka's witchcraft and blood behind a more modern, more efficient name. Truth be told, I feel like this is insignificant. More than insignificant, it is simply not necessary.
You reject the proposal? On behalf of the vampire court?
Ducarel glances at Theresis, but Theresis remains indifferent to him. Time has left almost no trace on the mixed blood Sarkas. He stands steadfast by Theresa's side, the same nameless warrior who stood by the seamstress a century ago. His eyes never fall on the vampire. Not a rejection, no. I am merely expressing some minor frustrations about this meeting. You are great and powerful, all of you are. How long has it been since so many members of the royal court have gathered here in Kazdel? Not to mention that it was you who defeated that foolish coalition in the prior age and wrestled the future into your own hands, before personally establishing the War Council. And now you wish to personally change this council. Why? Look about you, at the other dignitaries in this chamber. You have long reached a consensus. The only obstacle to your military commission is myself and the vampires. You would foist some ridiculous title upon me before forcing all vampires to bow down to your commission. When did you learn this political trickery that those Victorians and Nathanians so love? Why not just take my head here and now and slaughter the vampires within the city's walls? This meeting was not convened to persecute anyone. Was it not?
It was convened to discuss how to bring Kazdel into a new age.
A new age? In that so-called age of the six heroes the songs love to praise, what I saw was bloodthirst and violence. I had thought that when I arrived in Kazdel, I would be greeted with the sound of Elish wailing, but what did I see instead? I saw the coalition routed, witchcraft enough to cover the land and fill the skies, crush the enemy front, The power of the Sarkas shook the earth. I felt amazement, I felt excitement. Spurred by my passion, I took the head of the Lethanian envoy who orchestrated the coalition and offered it to the War Council. Nethalem! That war was the true beginning of a new age. I thought you would agree with me. Have you too succumbed to schemes and politics, and shut your ears to the echoes of the abyss? The abyss has no place for you, Dukarel. Do not drag me into your tantrum. My apologies. But I am curious, what position did I offer the esteemed Sarka's Master of War in a military commission that has rendered even you so short-sighted? All I await is the next war. And what war would that be? If it pleases you, Your Highness. Come, Dukarel. I will show you. Theresa nods her head in silent approval. The King of Sarkas' emotions enveloped the entire chamber and all the members of the royal court. Through the king's eyes, they see ruination and grief. They see the century-old order that the Gaulish Empire so painstakingly maintained within the core region, obliterated by the combined forces of Ursus, Victoria, and Lethanian. They see Lingonese, the capital of the world, doomed to never again appear on a map of Terra. Those present recall the campaign that reduced Kazdel to dust. But it is not yet over. An even further future, an even further fantasy, an even further possibility. It is no longer a story to reflect upon. Rather, it is a speculation, a deduction, a prediction, and a verdict. But none question it, for all possibilities must be treated equally, even for the one they see. And its ending is equally significant and indisputable as any other. It is a change, a turning point in history, a divergence of fate. A crucial war looms on the horizon. It will span from now into the distant future, impacting every Sarkas and all of Terra. All present has seen their positions in that war, the roles they wish to play. You should understand now, Vampire. You should understand what these visions mean. Or perhaps you have begun to grow weak and feeble, eelish in the short span of 100 years. You were once a warrior. I cannot deny that. But are you saying that a new and reborn Kazdel requires the royal court to relinquish its former authority? Close, but not quite. The new Kazdel will no longer require the royal court's former authority. It will be more modern, more efficient, Dukarel. How can the Sarkas speak of unity while you continue to indulge in your noble bloodlines? Will it come from the rule of the royal court? You may still rule over your own court and maintain the power and prestige you hold among the Sarkas, but the Vampire Court must yield to the military commission. I promise you this, in Theresa's name. When the age that you witness comes, Kazdel will no longer be a single dot upon the map. It was once more than just a city. and so it shall be more again.
It seems I have spoken out of turn. Please continue, Your Highness Theresa. The aftermath of the ongoing conflict, enough to reshape current power dynamics, will engulf us all. It may come in 50 years, in 10, or perhaps even tomorrow. Kazdel cannot escape it. Dirmatsi and I both saw the visions of the campaign that will destroy Lingonese. High-efficiency command systems made possible by Reginium Arts, high-speed battleships that can break through front lines, maneuver tactics that can mobilize entire legions. New advancements are applied to the battlefield as we speak. Their capacity for destruction is surpassing our innate instinct rooted in our bloodlines.
What worries me more is the fact that we will still find fellow Sarkas among the countless casualties of war. Gaul employed royal court casters, and the Liches in Lithanian are killing each other in battle, while a certain Vendigo is spilling the blood of his fellow Sarkas to prove his loyalty to the Ursine Tsar. As for the Sarkas mercenaries sent to the front lines as Artsfather, they won't even be counted in any nation's casualty statistics. The Sarkas massacre one another in wars we have no stake in, regarded as disposable goods to be abandoned without care by the leaders of those wars. For the sake of keeping pace with these changes, the Sarkas must once again gather around the furnace, and if necessary, the power to dominate the war must lie in our hands. Theresa looks to Theresa, waiting for her opinion. But Theresa does not speak, her eyes placid as before. We will plunder the other nations and wrest their most profound secrets from them. We were once the proud Tikas, forced to become the Sarkas, and derided as devils. Because the Outlanders feared us, it is an ancient fear rooted deep in their hearts. Let us remind them, let us show all of Terra our history and legend that have been either forgotten or falsified. The Sarkas are not weak. We do not need others to save us from our fate. On the contrary, we will dictate the fate of Terra, dictate how this land should move forward. The details of our plan have been delivered to all present through the runic arts of the Banshees. Dukarel. Do you still hold doubt?
No. Exceptional work, Theresis. Set aside a seat on the military commission for the Crimson Court. It appears that our Natsir king has not yet grown addled with age. What as to whether or not he could usher in such a grand feast?
Warriors need not die in a blaze of glory. That is a vulgarity only chased by those who seek fame.
Oh, I nearly forgot you were still here. Makermalin. I have made myself abundantly clear from the start, Prince Dukarel. I need only silently observe your enthusiastic attempt at self-expression. How pitiful it is to look upon such a shabby little court. I will cherish your elegies. Then this I promise you, when death comes for you, the Lord of the Banshees will sing you an elegy delivered to you by the Night Wind.
Set aside your chatter for another time. It seems their highnesses still have matters to discuss. The other members of the War Council will wish to know their decisions. Dukarel, Makermalin, and you Damatsi disguised outside the door. With me.
The Natsir king nods his head towards Theresa. The other two members of the royal court do not bid the king farewell. They simply follow the Nazir king out of the chamber. After the meeting's end, Theresa stays by Theresa's side, standing silently. He knows that she will be expecting an answer from him.
You never mentioned that you would announce the plans for war to the royal court.
You did not refute me either.
Would I have been able to refute anything?
You are well aware of what I think. If you wanted to argue against any of it, you would have done so a few years ago. For now, I have them by their reins. But it's not just them. This entire city hungers for war.
I will prevent matters from heading down the worst possible path, lest the prospects of Terra's continued existence become infinitesimally small.
You must be quick about it.
I will. What does Fremont's letter say?
As Theresis opens the envelope, the writing vanishes before his eyes, yet the message has already etched itself indelibly into his mind.
He has surmised what would transpire during that meeting rather accurately. He has given his opinion on some matters alongside a reminder. Do not place all your coming hopes in one basket.
The nomadic city of Kazdel.
You with that Babel? Don't count on the military commission to look after you all.
We're here to help you.
Help us? My partners died at the hands of you Lethanians. You got some nerve. What, not scared of me?
We knew what to expect when we came here, just need some getting used to. Besides, our captain warned us not to agitate the locals.
You looking down on me? You piece of shit! The hell is this? Let me go!
Do not harm him, but do make him leave. Dr. Kal'tsit? I said not to deviate from our planned route, even if it is to treat the wounded along the way. Sorry, Dr. Kal'tsit. No matter. You handled it well. We've reached our destination. Welcome to Babel.
Babel office, Kazdel.
Did you manage to retrieve all our stray colleagues? Yes, all's well with them. The construction of Babel's facilities is proceeding smoothly. The school that you were so looking forward to is already complete. Yet I heard that the unbeatable Dr. Kal'tsit had not too long ago been turned down, perhaps even kicked out. I did not foresee such a direct refusal. I'm not surprised at all, to be honest. To many Sarkas, the invitation of the king is barely worth the paper it's printed on. On the other hand, our connections with Sargon and Rimbiliton have delivered good news. As for Columbia, some scientists have proposed a technology exchange program. They have their eyes on the ancient Sarkas witchcraft, while we have need of their latest mobile farms. It took us a century's effort to share an equal dialogue with these powers. The results speak for themselves. You are creating new history, Theresa. Thank you, Kal'tsit. But I can tell you've had a lot on your mind recently. The military commission has been formally established. Babel's existence will spark yet another near irreconcilable conflict in Kazdel. Our staff comes from different races and nations. How should they live alongside the Sarkas? If your efforts to soothe enmity and prejudice instead become a fuse to spark conflict anew, what does your highness plan to do? If we cannot even eliminate prejudice and hatred within the walls of Kazdel, how can Babel hope to achieve equality for the Sarkas throughout all of Terra? There will be members of the military commission posted to Babel soon. They will ensure the safety of our people. This will also serve as a warning to some. Babel is backed by both Theresis and me. Oh, right. Did I ever tell you how I met a Sancta messenger, kal'tsit? Strange. The Sancta do not generally dare to approach the borders of Kazdel. Was this why your highness disappeared this afternoon? Was it that obvious? I thought Lakermalin had me covered. The Lord of the Banshees clearly tried, but judging from the results, she isn't the best pick for clerical work. Well, what of that Sancta messenger? He was getting water from the river, and we struck up a conversation. We chatted about many things. History, peace, hatred. Our viewpoints did not align on most things, but I could sense in him wisdom and intelligence beyond his years. He had thoughts concealed within his heart, ones even he did not know of. And so, you used the power of the King of Sarkas on a Sancta? I simply wish to know what this fated encounter meant. And what did it mean? It's still hard to say, but while I was looking at his soul, I felt that perhaps we are not so alone, kal'tsit. Many on this land are doing all they can to pursue hope. Hopes big and small, hopes bright and beautiful.
Ugh, that hurt. Are those people nuts or something? I just wanted to get a few nice things for myself. Never even heard of any Babel.
He steadies himself against the wall, gasping for air as his vision begins to blur. Fatigue floods his limbs, weighing him down. Through his blurred vision, he sees another in front of him fall to the crazed attacker's blades. He knows he will be next.
I refuse to die here. It's you or me, you bastards. Out of the way!
He uses the last of his strength to barrel his way out, but the only resistance he meets is solid ground. All he sees is black.
Are you alright? Were you trying to save me just now? There's so much blood on you. Why does it feel like I'm the one saving you? Hold on, I'll bring you to Babel. Our doctors there can help you.
I'm still alive.
Huh. Who would have thought that those lunatics would decide to attack innocent bystanders in broad daylight to get at Babel? I don't know how the others are faring. Hey, stay with me. I still don't know your name.
I'm... Good luck.
Huh?
For the first time, he regrets giving himself this name. Well, stuff is happening. The scenes are getting longer. And oh boy, that was a meeting. We're seeing a lot of faces, yeah, seeing a lot of faces there. Also, I'm slightly pissed. I am slightly pissed. They showed me Fremont. I loved doing Fremont voice. Why didn't he have lines? I wanted to do Fremont lines. He would have probably stolen the show if he would have actually spoken there, so let's leave it at that. I was so slightly pissed because he didn't have a single voice line. But anyway, or sorry, text line. I would have voiced him. But yeah, damn, stuff be happening. And people be meeting. And stuff be schmooing. I do like the pacing so far. Also, I want to say just this. Dear Sarkas, you might not like it too much when people call you devils, but now seeing Kazdel, its design for both the surface and down below in the Scar Market, you guys have a city and a below ground structure that just looks like it came out of the most recent Doom games. You cannot tell me that people don't call you devils for nothing. The whole thing looks like it's a hell level from Doom. And Doom, take notes. That could be a cool level. But yeah, damn, what a design for a city, what the shit. It really looks like it's hell. But yeah, let's move on. But first, new enemies. This is a basic Sarkas bitch, so we move on to our new boys. Flying Boots Mercenary. Propelled by compressed air cans beneath their feet, Flying Boots mercenaries raid and plunder on the winds. What was that anime called again? Air Gear. The second one is Pothelm Marksmen. Mercenaries with a Victorian lens on their helms. Thanks to how well their helms block out sound, they have never heard the snickers of the other Scar Market mercs behind their backs. Good stuff. We move on to our first training stage for our new stuff, titled Kazdelian Combat Drill. Learn to fight in the nomadic city of Kazdel. And while there is no story obviously tied to this, and I will not play through this as usual, however, I will say the best part about this whole thing was learning the Doberman is afraid of heights. Really, really, really afraid of heights. That was actually very funny. But we move on to our second battle stage titled Where Fate Guides. Sarkas has never been destroyed by war. We are strong. Let's begin. "26 years ago, autumn, the year 1068. Wasserland, Lethanian. How do you like this piece? Like an energetic child waking from slumber, rushing out the door to enjoy the fruits of life to the fullest. It was the Kufus who wrote it, inspired by His Holiness's visit to Wasserland when he was still a messenger for Laterano. The young and enthusiastic future pontiff told the children about all that he has seen. The ocean that Iberia watches over, the city of Athenius, where Mino and myth and machination exist in equal measure. And a passing mention of Kazdel, the city of sin, the whereabouts of which are unknown. The Kufus was there and he was fascinated by His Holiness's descriptions. The first draft of his work was in fact written at that time, but the Kufus was not satisfied. Even after many years of revisions, a final draft has yet to be completed. Until recently, when our scouts located the elusive nomadic city of the Devils and sent back photos. Gazing upon the enormous tracks left behind by the city, the Kufus found the missing element in the music: ferocity. With that, the work was complete. You found Kazdel? Yes, the Kufus was astonished to find that the destiny of the work was intertwined with the cities. I understand the reason the Kufus chose to present this piece on the eve of my return to Laterano. However, unlike his predecessors, His Holiness has no intention of initiating offensive action against the Sarkas. He is not interested in putting the sinless on trial without cause. I'm afraid I must disappoint the Kurfürst. The city itself is of no concern to the Kurfürst. He is far more interested in His Holiness's opinion of the piece. Please send His Holiness the Kurfürst's warmest regards. We have response from Siracusa. Only a few of the Familia have agreed to participate in the action. Their men will rendezvous with the fleet soon. I can't believe Laterano rejected us. Inform the Syracusans to move quickly. We must mop up the city before the other
Kreise can react. Take Kazdel before the other Kurfürsten can. Do not repeat the mistakes we made at Gaul and miss another opportunity.
Scar Market, Kazdel. I like Lithanians. You always bring so much business. And it's smart that you disguised yourself as a prisoner in a smuggling crew, rather than flying the banner of a messenger. Now tell me what you want, before I lose my patience. Trade, muscle for hire, intel. The Scar Market has everything you need.
Cooperation, esteemed leader.
We don't have a fixed price for cooperation. Are you sure your Kurfürst can pay my price?
Don't you want to know what we're asking for first?
There's nothing that money cannot buy, Caprine.
What about Kazdel?
Go on.
The Kurfürst wants you to sabotage the city's propulsion system, nothing else. The down payment is in the safe that you took from the caravan. The Kurfürst will discuss the rest of the payment with you in Kazdel.
I admire your boldness. Let me express my good faith with a little glimpse into the future for you.
The nomadic city of Kazdel, Kazdel.
Take your things and scram, Lithanian. Are you trying to poison me?
These are just suppressants. You'll need them on the battlefield.
The warships that surround us came from Lithanian. Outsiders like you must have led them here.
I don't have an explanation. I know you're taking your son with you into battle. He could use the medicine.
Keep your hands off my son. What's the commotion? Are you out of your mind? She's a Babel doctor. Are you okay?
I'm fine. He wasn't really trying to hurt me.
Good luck. You married a Babel woman and now you've become a shield for the invaders? That'll be the end of you, I guarantee it.
Many of us are also pained by the impending war. We've requested to join you on the front lines.
Lunatics. Who knows what schemes you have on the front line? You'll get yours in the end.
Give me the medicine. I'll distribute it. They're ready to leave. Go meet up with them. I'll take care of things here. Good luck. Your son... I didn't let him leave. If the Lithanians want to force us into a catastrophe, it's safer for him to be in the lower level shelters in the city. Relax, Doctor. People have made it through catastrophes in the past. Maybe we'll have, you know, good luck.
The furnace has burned for more than a century. War, catastrophe, migration, exile, all these sufferings since the T-Kaz era has not extinguished the hatred of the Revenants. The Sarkas have seen many Kazdels through the ages. The memory of yesterday may be unrecognizable by tomorrow. But the Soul Furnace has been a constant for this generation of Sarkas. Home is where the Soul Furnace is. Kazdel.
The furnace has not burned like this for many years. I can hear the cries of the Revenants even from here. Soon the city will charge headlong into a catastrophe. All we need to do is hold out until Nezalem's reinforcements arrive, until Kazdel once again passes through the catastrophe.
They thought we would cover. They tried to assume our thoughts with their conception of common sense. It was so 170 years ago, and it is so now. Arrogant and laughable fools who never took the time to truly understand us.
What fate do you think awaits the city Theresis?
To be honest, the chances that it survives are slim. Kazdel was immobilized the last time it braved a catastrophe. It took us a decade just to get it moving at full speed again. And the forests of crystals in the mines and on the walls could never be removed, ruining years of our plans for the city. I don't know if the city can survive another ordeal like that, much less one that's even worse. Good luck rarely comes twice.
I believe in the city's Theresis. Not because of luck, but because we built this city, and I won't give up on it.
The story of the city does not end here, Your Highness. I may not be able to see its future clearly, but there is one thing I can say for sure. The city continues to exist into the distant future. No one can say, however, if it will be a sanctuary of hope, or a ghost city of the dead. Scar-Eye, have you not grown tired of the ambiguous words of your kind? And need I remind you that no amount of mercenaries can ensure your safety in this city? There is no deceiving your highnesses, of course.
Kazdel's doors are open to every Sarkaz, but you'd better have a good reason to set foot in this city with your mercenaries at a time like this.
I was made an offer most difficult to refuse, which obliged me to enter the city to seek an audience. What is that you're carrying? This? Something insignificant. Oh, I mean someone. The Lethanians wanted me to sabotage Kazdel. I have been away from my kin for many years, but as your highness said, Kazdel is the root of all Sarkaz. So, I felt that I had to deliver this Lethanian with my own hands, in order to prove my innocence.
What are you thinking?
Exactly as I have said. What can I possibly hide before the King of Sarkaz? But if you're not interested in my gift of good faith, then I see no need to carry it with me anymore. It's heavy after all. He casually casts the bag into the furnace, where it is incinerated in an instant, without a sound. The furnace is always an impressive sight, no matter how many times one sees it. Your Highness need not pity him. He should have foreseen the risks when he approached the Scar market. I trust Lethanian was not miserly with its terms. It's simple, Your Highness. I prefer immediate payment over empty promises. But more importantly, I don't work with the losing side. Are you predicting our victory? It wasn't I who saw it. It was the Cyclops who left the prophecy 1,000 years ago. I'm simply betting that your highnesses are the protagonists of the prophecy. Regardless, the safest business for the Scar market is with your highnesses. It would keep business flowing for at least the next 50 years or so. Is that not so, your highnesses? You're clever. Prophecy doesn't bring victory, but we can. Bring your mercenaries. We're moving out. The crowd stirs. The Sarkaz procession leaving the city is quiet, except for the occasional clang of weapons and equipment. Their silence is rooted in the knowledge of the fate that awaited them beyond the city's gates. They wrap banners torn from the walls around their waists, or clutch originium spikes chopped from the streets as makeshift weapons. Each has their own ritual to remember the city that they may never return to.
Mom,
Dad? Where are you? Dad? Mom? People really need to watch their kids. They can't be allowed to run wild. Ow.
Careful.
Thank you.
Where did you come from? Why are you also leaving the city? You'll fall if you're not careful.
I'm looking for my mom and dad. Are you going out too?
Yes, I'm going to the battlefield.
Are you looking for your mom and dad there too? Can I come with you?
No, I'm by myself.
Why are you going out then?
Because I don't want to hide in the city. I want to fight the people who are doing bad things to us. That's what my parents told me before they left.
I want to fight too, but mom and dad won't let me go. I tried to sneak out and got a beating when they found out, but I don't want to be away from mom and dad.
We'll go together then, and find your mom and dad. But there'll be a lot of bad people out there. Are you scared?
You're not scared, and mom and dad aren't scared. I'm not scared either.
The disheveled child pumps his fists to show courage, but his trembling betrays him. The older child knows that the young boy does not fully understand what it is happening outside the city. But the young boy knows something simple but true. Bad guys should be chased away, families should stay together. So he takes the boy's hand and joins the procession. How do we find your parents when we're out there?
They work for Babel. They have a picture of a tower on their clothes.
Babel. I know that place.
Are you from Babel too?
No, I grew up in a military commission institution. I guess I'm from the military commission.
Military commission? What's that?
A place that protects people. Just like Babel. What's your dad's name? Let's squeeze our way to the front. Maybe they're up ahead.
Good luck!
Good... luck?
Yes, he's good luck. Why are you laughing?
Nothing. Let's shout his name. Maybe he'll hear you. Two children squeeze forward in the procession, holding each other's hand, calling out, "Good luck," with their tiny voices. A few heads turn and sigh when they see the young and naive faces. Good luck. It is what they all need. On an evening in the autumn of 1068, the music playing in the Kurfürst of Wasserland's study was interrupted by the sound of frantic knocking on the door. The fleet that was pursuing the nomadic city of Kazdel had broken off its pursuit. Those crazy devils charged straight into a catastrophe. It's only by sheer good luck that they got away. Years later, the Kurfürst of Wasserland still recounted the reason for his failure with palpable disdain. How tiny we seem when we stand beside the tracks of this ship.
Yes, it's a most impressive war machine. With their bodies as barriers, the Nazis halted its advance at a tremendous cost. The Banshee's shrieks, powerful enough to shatter consciousness, only managed to force the Lethanians to retreat below deck.
If not for the catastrophe and the rough terrain in this valley.
We're so far behind, and time is running out.
Kazdel must have equally powerful weapons, if not more so. All our previous attempts have failed.
A century ago, few believed we could build a nomadic city out of Kazdel, yet we did. If we are to catch up to them now, we cannot afford to take the conventional path. We have heard from the Mazdi. The battleships on the horizon are slowing down.
Have they given up?
No, the Kufist's orders were to continue the pursuit, but the commander of the fleet ordered them to slow down. They're concerned about the catastrophes and the terrain. They've seen what happened to the ship.
At the current rate, we can expect to engage them at dusk.
We have bought enough time for Kazdel to retreat.
Theresa looks back at the two storms entwining on the wastes, trying to catch a glimpse of the city. She sees nothing. Where is Kazdel now? Is it still moving through the storm? Are the people in the shelter safe?
The storms are converging. Our retreat has been cut off. A battle is inevitable. Theresis? I never thought I'd see you lose focus on the battlefield.
What's that?
That's...
The storms rage, the young taunting the old. The newborn storm slams into the dying storm to the war drums of thunder. Roiling air currents clash and combine between the two storms. Violence begets peace, and a passage appears where the storms converge. Lightning flashes and thunder cracks. A path through the storm.
the storm.
Let's go, Theresa. The storm has given us a path. Those who survive through it will have another chance.
We'll do it together.
The Damatsti cluster passes their command to every Sarkas present. The warriors see their leaders walk into the storm side by side and follow with no hesitation. The procession advances into the tempest, the strong supporting the weak, the brave encouraging the fearful.
Do you see that, Theresis?
Within the roar of the tempest, they seem to hear the voice from the snowstorm in that childhood dream. They see
The prophecy.
the thin, cloaked figure turns at the sound of her voice and sees the storm-bound procession. Theresa sees a child. Mist, gilded by the setting sun, shrouds her shoulders, rising and blending with the shrieking winds above. He takes off his gauntlet and stretches his bare hand into the mist. The mist dissipates, and in his bloodied hand is the stone blade that the child is holding.
You've... Grab!
What are you doing here?
You've come in home!
The child wrestles the blade from Theresa's hand and points it again at Theresa's and the procession behind him. There is no difference between man and beast to the child who grew up in the wastes. You want to kill me?
Kill you! Nobody taught her how to speak. She simply emulates the sounds made by those who pass by. Theresis?
Theresa looks down silently at the thin figure. Let me show you how to hold the knife.
You!
The child hesitates for a moment before putting her knife in Theresa's outstretched hand.
Me. You? Bring me!
Theresa gazes into Theresa's eyes. Prophecy. A sword to slay the Regent King. A spear to pierce the royal ring. but they have never cared much for prophecy. Very well. Come with me. The home of the Sarkas is not on the Barrens. Do you have a name?
Name me.
From now on, you have a new name. Ascalon. "10 days later. The nomadic city of Kazdel, Kazdel.
Look, Doctor, the furnace has been relit. Is it moving? The city is finally moving? Ow! Careful, your wounds might open again. I've got to go to the furnace. The furnace burns again, and Kazdel still sails. The Lithanians didn't manage to kill us. I didn't mean you, Doctor. Come with me to see it. You deserve the same honor as the warriors who survived. But I'm not Sarkas. You people are heroes too. Come and watch their highnesses command the Goliath to support the leaning furnace. Watch the sparks fly and iron hammers beat upon the broken core. Hear the elegy of the banshees and witness the final journey of fallen heroes when they enter the furnace to fuel it. This used to be an occasion that only the Sarkas could see. I would love to go, but there are still a lot of wounded to treat. Alright, I'll tell you what, I'll bring back a couple of bottles of booze and some fresh fruit, and we'll... You're not allowed to drink. And who the heck drinks in a medic tent? Come on, it's just a little flesh wound. No means no. It's your oropathy that's the problem, not to mention you're a terrible drinker. When did you ever see me drunk? Oh, that time when I was drunk and came to you with a bunch of oropathy bombs. Look, that was the only time in all these years. You know I can't afford booze. I can't stop you. Why don't you go yourself? Won't be the same without you. But I'm a Lithanian. And do you support those nobles who profit of war? I ran away from home because I couldn't stand them. There you have it. Wait a second. You say you ran away from home? Were you noble? No. I was kind of thinking, your equipment doesn't look like it's from Babel. Well, I won't speculate. It doesn't nobody any good. So you can go on your own. I doubt the soldiers on the front lines would get along with the Lithanian. When I saw the Lithanians string my father up by the sewer entrance to humiliate him, I never imagined I could befriend a Capernate doctor either. But back then, the only people who showed us any kindness were poor infected, or both. Right, enough of the sad stuff. Be back in a jiffy. Seriously, since when did the Sarkas become so glib-tongued with me? I wonder if this counts as progress, Theresa. In any case, Kazdel is moving again. Things will get better. Back already? Well, it's about time you laid down. Oh, sorry. I thought you were someone else. Wait, your wounds are really bad. Nobody treated your arts burns? The Lithanians did it. My son's dead. They burned him alive before my very eyes. I was the only one who lived. At least let me see your wounds. They burned him alive. He was screaming. They used darts to hang him in the air for everyone to see. My brothers are dead. My captain is dead. The Lithanians stood on the high ground. Their raised staffs looked just like... With bloodshot eyes, the nearly deranged Sarkas fixates on the doctor's staff abandoned in a corner. The emblem of the home she have left behind hangs from the staff. Like a real... The doctor does not sense the hostility.
She lifts a stop to inspect the wound, but feels a chill run up her spine. You're armed. Why didn't the guards check you? The light of the soul furnace lights up the night sky above Kazdel like the midday sun. The fire's crackles echo like a morning growl, a somber tribute to the fallen who have become its fuel. All the Sarkas set their eyes on the sky that night. No one notices the light from one of the field hospital's windows go out. Your Highness? Oh, I was abroad here. Oh, yes, I have good news to report. What news? We won. We defeated the Lethanians, Your Highness. Me, my son, and the Blue Blood Squad. We won. We, won. Are you not glad, Your Highness? Were we too slow? Blake! My son, bring me the battle plan! Son? Son? Sorry, Your Highness. I don't know where my son went. You killed a doctor, one who has served Kazdel for years, treating oripathy patients. Kazdel? Doctor? No, you misunderstand, Your Highness. I only fight Lethanians.
Have you read his emotions, Theresa?
Pain, confusion, madness. He has driven himself mad to escape the painful memories. He doesn't even know what crime he committed.
The others do. The guards discovered him brawling with another Sarkas amid shattered casks of liquor, which ignited and spread fire throughout the field hospital. All await the king's response, but you cannot be the one to do it. Leave it to me.
Your Highness! General! I gave my all to defeat the Lethanians. Was I wrong to do so? Your Highness!
Take him away.
His name is Logan, given to him by his mother, who was one of the first Babel engineers. He hardly uses any arts, but the guards were hypnotized by arts. Someone is behind this.
The military commission will not investigate the Sarkas for the sake of an outsider, not after they've just been through another ordeal. Neither should Babel. We have no choice. The war has just ended. Babel should withdraw from military and political affairs, at least for the time being.
You know that's not what Babel is about in the first place.
I do, but many don't.
I will define the parameters for Babel's activities. Babel members will continue to serve Kazdel's medical, educational, and technological needs from this area.
The military commission will continue to protect them, but we must make every effort to avoid conflict. There will come a day when the repressed hatred boils over, and even we will be powerless when the day comes.
Kazdel is in urgent need of a change. We have to solve the Originium problem. Soon.
But even that won't solve all our problems.
I know. I've always known.
There you are, Ascalon. What have you seen in the city?
Death. People cry. People die. Cry? Cry tears?
Theresa stretches out his hand. A delicate stone knife lies in its palm.
Knife! My!
Keep it safe. A warrior should treasure her weapon. I will teach you how to sharpen your blade. But it's up to you to decide whom it cuts.
You're too impatient, Theresa's. She's not ready to understand these things yet.
She has to understand, sooner or later.
Maybe, but for now, what we should do is give the frightened child a little bit of peace. Do you like the city, Ascalon?
Compared to the armored general, Ascalon does not like this Sarkis woman crouched before her. She seems to see through all of her thoughts, leaving no secrets, a most dangerous thing in the wastes. But she cannot bring herself to be hostile to this gentle Sarkas.
No need to be afraid. You know I don't mean you any harm. Come, touch my horn. We're the same. Warm here. Warm me. Yes, warm. Hatred and killing are not the only way to solve a problem. Problem?
Theresa says no more. It is difficult for a girl who has known nothing but the wastes to understand certain words, even with the help of the King of Sarkas. She takes Ascalon's hand.
It's like the wound on your palm. Weapons can't heal it. Only time and medicine can. Oh! It's okay. I've cleaned your wound. You'll need to take care of it. Be patient. One day you'll wake up and find that it doesn't hurt anymore. Yeah.
Babel classroom, Kazdel.
No one here. We'll wait a little longer. It's not lesson time yet. They'll come. Look, it's Theresa's.
Casualty report from the military commission. There are many children, most of them students.
The ones that lived.
Their parents are no longer willing to let the outsiders of Babel teach them. Plus, if memory serves, many of Babel's teachers have already left out of fear. You're troubling yourself too much with trivial matters, Theresa. You need to rest. We still have to.
I want to wait a little longer, Theresa's.
Very well. He does not leave. The classroom is eerily quiet. Theresa closes her eyes and recalls the students who used to fill the classroom.
They said we can get potatoes for coming to school. I don't understand that one, Your Highness. Do you have any simple stories? You said you went to the outside with mercenaries when you were our age? There's a sea between Sargon and Iberia? What's a boat? Why can't we go up on deck? Why would we throw up? Lithanian spires? Are they like our furnace? People who are nice to us? Well, that says there's no foreigners like that. But the teachers here are nice to us.
Students come and go, but she always managed to get them to return. But this time, no one came.
Oh?
General Theresa's, Your Highness,
You! The hilt of a stone knife hits the boy in the chest. Although unable to break free, the boy strains to look up at the tall, gaunt girl who has him pinned. I saw General Theresis come this way. I just wanted to... Theresa, Your Highness, you're here too. This classroom, are you teaching?
Put down the knife, Ascalon.
Your Highness.
You were looking for me?
Yes, I came to seek an answer for the children who lost their parents. I know the military commission will take care of them, as it took care of me. But will this change anything? What if another war comes? I want to change things, but I don't know what I can change, or what I should change. The two rulers gaze upon the fearless child, each arriving at their own answer inside. What's your name? Manfred. Dad, we've been standing at the door forever. Why can't we go in? Mommy's hurt very badly. She needs some quiet to rest. We shouldn't bother her. But I miss Mom. Daddy misses her too. But now, we'll go home together once I come back. Where are you going, Dad? I have to leave the city for a bit. To make the people who hurt Mommy pay. Stay here with Mommy and wait for Daddy. Can you stay, Daddy? We'll figure out a way to make Mommy better, I promise. Do you like Mommy's name? Oda. Yes, it sounds very nice. It's your name now. But... I'll teach you to fight the bad guys with Mommy's weapon once I get back. Okay, I'll beat up the bad guys who hurt Mommy. But will beating up the bad guys make her feel better? You'll understand someday, Oda. I'll be back. Wait for me. Good luck turns around toward the crystal-infested city wall. The only thing left that ties him to the city is Oda. Oda and Oda.
All the babus in this one. And tragedy. But before I say anything anymore, enemy info. We have one more here, which is the scrap assembler, and it says mercenaries fascinated with building new equipment and moving heavier equipment by adding more power. I'm also gonna say I like the DIY aspect of all the enemies so far. And again, that makes sense with their environment, but they look very goofy, especially this guy. But yeah, anyway, what a story on this stage. From Babu to tragedy to prophecy to... Well, that's a way to introduce Ascalon into the story, alright? And yeah, the two clips that I'm gonna be sharing right here at the very end in a bit have to do pretty much with the introduction of both baby Manfred and baby Ascalon. One of them has peaked audio, because that one is the one I didn't expect. The other one is someone I actually expected. And it's more on the lines of just... You'll hear it. I'm not gonna say anything anymore. You will hear it. And yeah. Also, Baby Yoda. Oh, baby. My little baby. Oh, no. Oh, why did he have to be, oh god, the name. The moment his goddamn dad named him after his mother, oh god. Oh, rip my heart. This story is gonna rip me apart. This story is already ripping me apart. It's gonna rip me apart way much later. Oh, I knew going into this story that there's gonna be several scenes where it's just gonna be difficult to record anything in them and be, you know, professional about it. But, oh boy, this will be a journey. But that will be for next time. For now, guys, thank you very much for watching and listening. Hope you enjoyed, and hope you enjoyed the clips you're about to see. But in the meantime, please consider leaving a like on the video. It would help me out a lot. Leave comments, of course. I am looking forward to see what you guys are going to be saying about the story so far, at least. And yeah, I'm looking forward to read more and do more. But for now, I need to chill, and I need to edit this. And I need tea, and I need honey. I need to get my throat in order. Speaking as Theresis and Scar Eye is not good on my throat. Especially Scar Eye. That freaking... I had to... Also, again, we've already seen at the beginning of the story, he dies. But, I gave him already the growly like, raspy... Almost kind of like a smoker voice, and then he died, and I was like, ah, perfect! The cursed voice, it was given. But yeah, anyway, thank you very much, guys. And of course, as always, if you want to support the channel even more directly, there are memberships on the channel. And as always, no video will be behind a membership. It's pretty much just there to support the channel more directly. Thank you to the members who have already become one of we many. Thank you very much, guys. And yeah, all I can say is enjoy the peak audio. I hope I'm gonna remember, and it's gonna be the first clip after this, so enjoy! Ow. Oh my god, baby Manfred, what the fuck? Oh, excuse me, I had to take a fucking sip. What the fuck? Holy shit! I also hated that he's giving me Kreide vibes now because of this younging look. Oh, what the fuck? God, how the fuck am I gonna voice this little asshole now? Anyway. She looks so angry. Oh no, the tiny horns. Oh my god. Oh god. Oh god. Tiny Ascalon. Oh boy. Well, here we go.